Georgie here, Cosmic Heart Space. Look at me, right? Okay, so I just wanted to come on why it's kind of like fresh in my experience with you. So I was just going out again, and I actually had a really nice morning walk, and I was honestly like, I was high as a kite. I was just out and about, and I was, dancing, and the codes were coming in, and I was really enjoying myself. And I thought, you know what? I came back and I thought, I'm gonna go back out, and I'm gonna go down to town. I'll walk to town. I'll walk through, get a few little bits that I wanted. I wanted to get a compass and stuff. I thought, why not walk and just get a bit more exercise? And I'm in a really good mood. I want to move. I want to move my body. You know that feeling like I could just dance and move. But as I started to walk, I started to see all these different things along the way that were triggering me, and I could hear all of these thoughts coming to the surface that, of how I felt about the different things that we're experiencing in that space. So I don't know whether to be codey about it or just speak about it, but it's like I went from really feeling like I want to dance, and I was like, and I still felt like that, but it was like and I was like, wow, like, God, is there a place that I could be like this? And I was like, oh, I am the place. This is me. This is my vibration and my energy, and just being. So it was really interesting then going into that experience, and it was almost like I was geared up into that vibration to go out and walk through this space with that energy, because with that energy we're dispelling like all of the vibrations that are creating, such as the littering and stuff like that. I was really seeing that how separated we are to drop these things that we're thinking that we're protecting ourselves from some kind of thing that people think is gonna harm them, but yet we're harming ourselves through that littering and leaving those sort of things around. I felt honestly like Hansel and Gretel, like walking along the street because they were the same thing, if we know what I'm talking about, just along this path. And I was completely like, I could feel like almost this vibration that I was in, almost wanting, like, gonna break open. And I was going, whoa, like, what? Humanity, oh my gosh, the detachment of understanding their selves, as a part of this whole earth, this whole, you're a part of that. This isn't healthy for anybody, what's going on. But with that, I was, okay, I'm going to turn this with the vibration that I've got, with my big beautiful wings that are expanding and opening. So again, and then I can feel my whole entire team literally swarming through. We're coming in, and we're just bringing in the vibrational resonance to move that stagnation. We're visualizing the earth as we're walking, that we're moving and walking along all of these meridians. We think about Pacific ley, oh, there's a ley line here, there's a ley line there, but there is such a network of meridians on this whole planet, on Mother Earth. It's completely covered. So there's even there's smaller strands of energy and that's moving or not moving. There's stagnations, there's pools of energy that's circulating that's not healthy. And that's something that I started to experience, and I started to see where I was and how that was playing out. And then all these different points that were where I was going along, and how they were creating almost like it's this really tight woven. Imagine if we're thinking about the body as well. is that, you know, it's like this tight woven knot, you know when you get these knots and these tension points in your body, and it's like that blood flow can't flow, the lymphatic system can't flow, you know, and then those meridians can't flow, the oxygen getting to that place can't flow, and when then we're not able to release and eliminate the toxicity that's kind of coming into our system. So I was like visualizing that those points, that even each little minute bit, even if there was a shop that was holding some kind of energy flow of what they're producing, that was creating something, like each thing creates its own, you know, it's so fine, it's so minute in the grand scheme of everything, but yet it has such an impact. So it was like I was going in and I was just like shifting them, and I was creating this new geometric structure. I'm saying me, but it's like, you know, the team, the divine that was using me as an instrument to bring that through the intention, and we were really restructuring so that then there was this flow system. Hiya. So I'm in a flow. You might need to go back and listen to this later on. But so I was like in this like geometric structure, like really rebuilding that system so that actually it flows and it's coming out. And instead of also thinking that we're like clearing it even through the earth, I was then shown this point to take things up and through to the void, so that what we're doing is we're actually completely removing it out, and then there's like this rebuilding and restructuring that goes in through the void, so that we're actually completely restructuring and recreating. So it's not even being created or going into the light or anything like that. We're taking it into the void space because we're allowing it to be completely released. It's not something that needs to even be restructured or rebuilt into earth in some other formation. It can just be completely lifted, and it's not even that, not lifted like as if it just pops them out, because it's moving, it's circulating, there's all this circulation. And then I was seeing the whole entire crystalline grid that was really like throughout this whole like town, specifically the town I was focusing on, and the actual energy points through this place. And then I was seeing how there was all the resonance of like other how do I put this? So there was other almost like lifetimes that were still sitting, like the experiences were still there, and there was like these vibrational resonances, I suppose you could say. And actually, yeah, because then we went past this like hospital at one point, and I was like, okay, and it was almost like we swept a big load of people and, you know, spirit lives that were all held within this place. It's not a hospital anymore. It used to be a hospital, and then there's all these new buildings, and there's even like an old people's home and all this. And so I was like re-sweeping through to collect. Like, it was massive, and it was massive. It was like a massive collective that I had with me that we just went in, and we was like, and it's like swooping, like you can just imagine these big giant wings or something just sweeping and pulling it all up so that we could recalibrate that energy, and everything could kind of come back to where it needs to be, because it's almost like it was held, this vibration was holding and being held in a space and a place in a way that wasn't enabling things to really move forward and evolve. And I suppose those people that were there, that I'm sort of just more seeing now, were like kind of there, that it's like they're either drawn there because of the experiences those people had, they're going to like re-experience, and they need those lessons or something. There was something going on there where it's like it was holding that magnet. It was almost like a magnet for that kind of vibration, the kind of sickness and and some of the things that have kind of gone on in this hospital, because we're thinking years and years and years. I'm talking like, you know, before we have the kind of healthcare that we have now, you know, it was really like lifting a lot of this really old stuff. And there was so many other buildings there as well, like along the way, that just held like such old energy. And then one of them, I was like, oh, you know, do we need to go in here? And we sort of did, but it was almost like it's hollow. There's nothing left there now. It's just showing this kind of like, it's just a show that it's there, but it's not really there anymore. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we just helped to kind of like remove some of that as well. So it was really interesting. I was like on this like full-on journey. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I'm like this. I didn't have my eyes closed, but it was a bit handy because I'm always moving my hands as I'm walking along. But there was just so much to just go through, and yeah. So why we're explaining this, and like I'm being called to just explain this journey, is because sometimes when we just really let go, and because I was in, you know, in my own little bubble, I was in this like super like beautiful vibrational resonance of like pure love and joy. Like I was like jigging around, having a little dance, like, you know, just playing with energy, really more than anything playing, that it enabled me to then go into that space and do what I did, because it was like I was in that playful state. If I go into that environment and I'm like, oh, I've got to go in and I've got to clear this, I've got to like, and we go in kind of like with armor and with this seriousness that it's like, it makes it difficult for ourselves. It makes it feel painful and hurtful and difficult. Whereas there, I was still in it. I was still in this really beautiful vibrational resonance that enabled me to really flow and bring that in. And you know, we was even going through to these places of like where, you know, they're what do they call them? So like nightclubs, you know, and these nightclubs, like, oh my gosh, like the energy that I was like pulling out there, it was like woof. But it's like creating now this like beautiful energy to like flow through these spaces. So what I'm also seeing is, and this is happening in other places now as well, we're starting to see more and more of it. You know, we're really starting to see the crystalline grid and seeing the actual flow and the movement of the energy. So it's like some things really had to just be like, you know, we've had to really go in super fine, like tiny, like, you know, that kind of little surge in on a tiny little mouse. It's like, that's what we are all doing. And I know that everyone's saying about there being this big awakening that just happens and poof, and, you know, there's this big lift. But for me, my experience is like really going in, like I'm doing this little tiny surgeries here and there, because you think how big, you know, we are as Mother Earth, how big this is. This is, you know, we all need to just really focus in when you're going out places, if you feel called, obviously, but it's just really feel that focusing, that laser little focus into each and every little spot, and you'll begin to notice that you can just start to move it away and pull it in, and then that energy just starts to just drop in. It's so beautiful. So, okay, what's the time? Right, I've got 10 minutes, and then I've got to head off, but I just really wanted to do this in the moment. So I spoke to you guys about the cosmic yoni egg a while ago, and why we call it that is because it's again, this is the representation of the energy of the void. If you think about, you know, it's rebirth, it's recreation, it's where creation happens and where it all begins, and there's no thing and all things. So this came through as well as I was walking back, and we started to see, so like when I started to like lift things up as well, they were saying basically that for yourself, if again it resonates, you know, because you can find your own modalities and your own ways of doing it. This is how I am doing it, and I'm being asked to, you know, to share that with you, is that, you know, you can have this kind of thing as that this is a visualization tool. So you're creating this visual that you're going, that you've got this void like portal energy that's going to help you to take that energy through. So if you're feeling in yourself, or in your experience, people, places, things like that, you can visualize what you're assisting to help to clear can go into the void space. So we're putting it in this space for the space of actually for the purpose of complete recreation, complete rebirth, you know. And it's coming out, you know, it can kind of, you can visualize it coming up and out, and visualizing the rainbow energy like that kundalini energy. So it's like rising up, it's going through and out. So it's like it doesn't stay, it doesn't get stuck in the void, it's not lost forever. It's coming in to that space to be completely renewed and then rebirthed out. Right? So you can visualize that however, like, you know, whatever's really calling you and what, you know, is resonating with you. Allow yourself to, you know, explore your own visualization. But there is this as a beginning tool. You can go back and find it. So yeah, I just wanted to share that really, because it was so profound. You know, in a really funny way, because you're just kind of doing your thing. You're in like a very mundane kind of town, and you know, everyone's doing their thing. I mean, people don't smile. Like it's really odd, and people kind of, even I got quite a few like frowns and stuff, you know, because everybody's really anxious at the minute. And I, you know, and I'm not laughing. It's just like amazement, kind of like shock, like whoa, you know, rather than not. It's not at the person and those individuals. It's just the realization that that's what's really out in the collective. And so to transmute that, it for, you know, the raising of consciousness and humanity, we can really look at, you know, pouring in love into those spaces, and also helping that energy to flow and move, so that we have more circulation and flow through the body of Gaia, through and it's evidently through us too, because we are the body as well. So I hope that's been helpful, and I just want to send you all the love, and I hope that, you know, wherever you guys are in your experience, that you know, you're able to, hey Agni, how's it going? So yeah, I'll share a little sound transmission as well, just to accompany this spoken transmission in English spoken, so that you can feel it through your heart and get an understanding through that space as well. Okay. Ish anukumani nileliam nina roliam awakwayem nini ashamoro laliam alili ir alekalo ulum ila lali ir ulum ar liam maush diash. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you everybody. And oh, before I forget, I'm going to put a post up about it later anyway. I have launched the podcast today. It felt right to do it today. And then I've got another one launching on Friday, Christmas Eve, with a special guest. Can't wait to tell you about it, but I'm going to keep that a surprise. So yeah, I'll share that about. It's on Anchor and it's on Spotify so far. And I will get those onto the other ones eventually. It all takes time to get onto each platform, you know, no rush. But I'm sure a lot of you have Spotify. I'm also going to post the video of me talking on YouTube as well, okay? And I'll do that continually. I'll just keep sharing them. And yeah, okay, loads of love everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Mwah. Yashangu nama atini yoku ma'a owashi.